Good morning and welcome to this online platform. Today in literature, I want us to talk about poetry. And whenever you talk about poetry, what comes to your mind? There are several definitions of this word poetry. But before I go into the definitions, I would want to let you know first of all that in literature, poetry is a very complicated topic. It's something that requires that you should be very careful when treating it. Some textbooks will define poetry as an overflow of spontaneous emotions recaptured in tranquility. If you go to so many textbooks, this is the definition that you're going to get. But then, I don't advise my students to make use of that definition. Not that it is not correct, but because that definition is complicated and you might find it difficult to explain it or to comprehend it in order to help you to treat things that have to do with poetry. Now, which definition are you expected to use? This definition you have here is very simple and understandable. When you talk about poetry, poetry can be defined as the expression of deep feelings using elevated language. And it is necessary that you have this in mind. If there is no deep feelings there, then you are not talking about poetry. It is expected that poetry should be born out of feelings, and the feelings must be deep. And then the language of poetry is not like the everyday language that you know. The language of poetry is not the ordinary English that people speak. The language of poetry is often elevated. Remember, poetry can be defined as the expression of deep feelings. The expression of that feeling inside of you. The expression of a particular emotion that you wish people to know about. But then you do that using elevated language. You do that using grand language. Now, there are different types of poem. And you should know that whenever you talk about poetry, already you know what poems are. When you talk about poetry, poetry is a collection of poems. So whenever we are talking about poetry, we are talking about poems. There are different types of poem, and the first one is the sonnet. And we define the sonnet as a poem of 14 lines, which runs with a specific rhyme scheme. There are two types of the sonnet. The first one is the English sonnet. And the English sonnet runs in this rhyme scheme. A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. And then, the second type of sonnet is the Italian sonnet. And you will be able to differentiate the English sonnet from the Italian sonnet using this rhyme scheme. This is the rhyme scheme that is peculiar to the Italian sonnet. Now, the English sonnet, in case you happen to see another name, take note that the English sonnet can also be referred to as Elizabethan. The Elizabethan sonnet. Or some other textbooks might even refer to it as Shakespearean. So any of these names that you see, you should have it in your mind that they are still talking about the English sonnet. We refer to it as the Elizabethan sonnet because this English sonnet was popularized by William Shakespeare, and that was during the era of Queen Elizabeth of England. That is how you come about this name Elizabethan and the name Shakespearean. Whereas you can also call the Italian sonnet Petrarchan. This is because this particular type of sonnet was made popular by an Italian known as Petrarch. This is the reason we refer to it as the Petrarchan sonnet. Alright, the next type of poem that we'll be talking about is the elegy. Now, when you mention the elegy, what comes to your mind? I want you to take note of something. The elegy and the dirge often seem to confuse. They confuse so many persons. Whenever you mention the elegy is a type of poem that is used to mourn the death or the loss of something that is dear to us. It is either that the person writing this poem is mourning the death of somebody who is dead, or the loss of something that is dear to them. We refer to such as elegy. Whenever you see a person mourning, Whenever you see a person singing a poem, and the feeling that the person is expressing there is the feeling of mourning, the type of poem there is the elegy. Whereas the dirge is a poem or a song that is sung. Remember, a song. A song that is sung at the burial, at the funeral of a person. This is that type of song or that type of poem that you normally hear when a person is being buried. That is the difference between the two. But so many times, textbooks will define this one as a poem of mourning and also this one as a poem of mourning, thereby confusing readers. But they are not the same. This is a poem that is used to mourn the death of somebody or the loss of somebody that is dead. And then the dirge is a type of poem that is used, that is sung when a person is being buried. After that, we have what we call the serenade. What's a serenade? This is a type of poem or a song that is sung to a beloved person. This is the type of song, this is the type of poem that maybe a man sings for a woman that he loves. This is a type of poem that is used to attract one's lover. It says to tell you that it's a type of poem that a man constructs and sings beneath the window of a beloved person. But you should just have it in your mind that it is a type of poem that is used to attract lovers. And then after that, we have the epic. And we often refer to as the epic as the king of poems. Now, what is an epic? An epic is a long narrative where you define the epic and these things are not stated, it is not complete. An epic is a long narrative poem that tells of supernatural deeds. These are qualities. It is possible that somebody might ask you the features of an epic. The features of an epic are it must be long and it must be narrative. That it should be narrative means that it should be a type of poem that tells a story. It should be narrating a particular story to you. A long narrative poem that tells of supernatural deeds. A type of poem that you find out that the characters that are there have these supernatural powers. They have these superhuman qualities. Now, let us take for instance, in this popular movie that you refer to as Merlin. Merlin is not a drama. Merlin is a poem. But this poem is long. And this is why it is an epic. A long narrative poem that tells of, some just say that it tells of heroic deeds, but I would rather you use that it tells of supernatural deeds. That is why you find out that so many characters in that Merlin, they have these supernatural powers. An epic is not complete if the characters that are there do not portray these supernatural powers. There are two types of the epic also, just like what we have here. There are two types of the epic. And they are, the first one, the traditional. You have the traditional epic, and you have the modern epic. The traditional epic, just like the name implies, is the type of epic that was known in the olden days. This type of epic, the traditional epic, is transmitted through the words of the mouth. They are orally transmitted. These are types of epic. These are narrative poems that were told, that were sung in the years past. This type of an epic, they do not have any particular writers. They are not attributed to any particular poets. These, like I said, are orally transmitted. The father tells his son, and the son will still tell the son, and it continues to go. That is why we refer to it as the traditional epic. And then the second type of epic is what we refer to as the modern epic. This is the epic of our time. These are those poems, those long narrative poems that we know around this time of ours. Now, these ones, they have writers. They have their poets. They are attributed to certain writers. An example of this modern epic is just like John Milton's Paradise Lost. You can find out that there is somebody that it is attached to. We know of a particular person who wrote that poem. Paradise Lost is an epic. And again, you should know, maybe a textbook or somebody would have told you that whenever you write the title of a poem, you put it in quotes. But for an epic, whenever you write the title of a poem that is an epic, you must underline it. You treat an epic the same way you treat books. These are little rules that you must know about some of these things. Alright, after that, the last one will be taken. That does not mean that that is the last type of poem, but this is the one we'll be taking for now. That is the ode. Some persons refer to this as ode, but this is ode. When you mention the ode is a poem of praise. A poem that is used to praise certain good deeds, certain heroic deeds of persons or things. We refer to that as the ode. You must have heard of a poem known as Ode to the Nightingale. These are poems, these are songs that are used to praise people, to praise things, to praise qualities. Alright, now I believe with these little explanations that we've been able to achieve the objectives that are here. And the objectives that are here say that you should be able to explain poetry. And then, we said that poetry can be defined as the expression of deep feelings using elevated language. And the second one says that you should be able to state and explain the types of poems that exist. And these are few of the poems that we have been able to treat. With this, I will say thank you.